All right, all right, all right. Shalom, 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 Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, lovely early morning in which the Most High, a higher has made, which the Most High, a higher has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm coming with a message. Being so, I had a message uploaded yesterday on live, and it was I was having there were some internet and buffing and so on and so on. Uh, After that video, I realized the power that bees. The power that bees don't have to be just the power of the authority of man, but Satan himself. A lot of times when I speak of Yah's power or the mystery of Satan and his ways and the doings, I always get this problem. This problem always occur. So it seems just like it always shows up. You know how the Father was the Most High Yah. He was with the sons of man, and Satan came in the midst, and he said, Satan said he was going to and fro. He was asking him, what was it he was looking for or seeking? He said, I'm going to and fro, seeing to whom I may devour. I believe that I know many of you all probably ain't gave it a thought. The times that we had problems with the internet was basically when the power of Yah is being recognized. When we speak heavily about his power and who he is in his power, you have a lot of issues with buffing and shutting down the live. I mean, it's off the chain. Last night was the first night I felt the power that be to be able to step in a rim, and the rim was really speaking on behalf of who he is, hiding behind different entities. So at that moment, I was into the video probably 5 minutes, and I got onto that topic, and you all did not know it, or maybe you did. You saw it where it buffed, and then as I continued, it began to do the same thing. Then it shut me totally off. So I truly believe I salute the Father's will and how He has allowed the work of the enemy and wicked to have their portion. Okay. I have a lot of respect for that. I really do, you guys. You guys, when you know the power of Yah, you know about his stretched out hand in his right, his stretched out arm in his right hand. When you really read that and really grip it, oh, you'll see who's who and what's what every time. And so I do understand in fullness Satan tampering with that which Ahiah will suffer him to tamper with. Because I also understand what he have said unto me, the Father. Stay in your lane, okay? And in your lane, you got to continue to run. You're still in the race. You're not a dead prophet, Deborah. You are a living prophetess. So therefore, stay in the race. And staying in the race means keep speaking what I give you. I'm not coming down to speak with these people. I'm not coming down to abide with them and listen to their cries and their sorrows and their feelings. This time that we're in was appointed and anointed by him before the foundation of the world. He is not coming to make the crooked straight and the straight crooked. He's not coming to deal in that matter. It is finished in him. That means we are walking the end, the tip of the end on out. It's finished. Because what happens after then is a different stage of his will. You see, so even though we might see things going on and we might think because of our words, how we get on these devil platform and hoop and holler, oh, they did this, oh, they doing this, oh, they doing this. When the Father said, when it's all said and done, it has no connection and it's not going to heal because you're speaking it. What a heal is when you speak spirit and truth. See, truth in the spirit sets a man free. In which way in this day and time, Father Yah? Give me the words to say unto them. In this day, how can a man be set free? He has to be set free from the inside out. He has to salute the will of the Father in all and everything that he ministered to him in his spirit. Even though he might not like it, even though he might not agree with it, even though he might not see it, even though he might not understand it. But you got to salute the will of the Father, especially when it's dealing with you from the inside out. And I come this morning to say unto you, he gave me a message this morning that kind of caused me to go like, because I was like, that's a topic that I have heard in the last week, and he wants me to address it. And I'm good with it. I'm good with it. That's just where I'm at. But I got to also climb back on top of what I was speaking about yesterday. But I'm going to address what he gave me this morning because I was in the bathroom washing my face. And he addressed me with something that was very powerful, and I got to put it forth. It's not about challenging people and trying to make one wrong and one right. It's about spirit and truth. It's about standing on the spirit realm of truth. You see what I'm saying? And that is, once you stand on spirit and truth, you stand right in the light. You shine bright in the light. You see? So therefore, it's not about trying to debate and argue and he say, she say, he say, she say. That stuff is for Satan team. That's not for Sister Deborah. So I want to share with you what he told me this morning. He said to me something, and why? I don't care about why. All I know is this is what my father gave me. I was in the bathroom and I was washing my face, and he said to me, there was a time period in which many have spoken of in Torah, a time period of the old where it was about the bloodline, the natural bloodline. Tell them, Deborah, it's about the natural bloodline. They really don't understand the difference in what they have split up to be the Old Testament, Torah, and the Old versus the New Testament as they have lined it up, which is now Messiah have stepped on the scene, not to change the law nor the prophets, but to fulfill all things. And to fulfill all things, if he had to fulfill the law, he fulfilled it. If he had to fulfill the words that were spoken out of the prophets, he fulfilled it. See, they didn't understand. He said he wasn't coming to change it, but he was going to fulfill it. He was coming to fulfill the words that were spoken out of the prophet's mouth, to not to change it, but to climb on top of it. You know how Sister Deborah be saying, when I'm on here and even when I'm live, I get disappointed because no one is climbing on top of what Sister Deborah is saying. And when it feels to me that I'm alone because you're speaking and you don't hear nothing but the same thing over and over and over and over for the last 4 years, over and over, everybody just saying the same thing. No one is climbing on top, or no one has any spirit and truth or light that can shine in the midst of light that's not as bright in its information, but that's what you are for, to climb on top. No, you can't climb on top with your flesh wisdom, your flesh knowledge, nor your flesh understanding. But I just assumed that, just assumed, and this is me, this is my issue, that somewhere along the line, somebody got to be about the Father's business. Somebody got to know their purpose. Somebody got to know their calling in this day. You see, everybody's so busy wanting to know who they are in the natural. They could care less of who they are in the spirit, because they could care less about who they are in the body of Hamashiach. They could care less. They are not even seeking their callings, their purpose, their mission. If they have one, it doesn't matter. But they will seek everything they are in the flesh and forsake everything they were called to be in the spirit. And that's why the body of Christ is lingering. Okay, now this is what he said. He said that in the days of old, it was about the bloodline, keeping the bloodline pure. he said that's the whole idea regarding Ruth. It wasn't the woman keeping the bloodline pure. He was bringing back the men. Okay. A lot of them, they don't, Naomi and Ruth, a lot of people don't know nothing about that story. And it's sad. It's really, to me, it's sad because I'm like, okay, Father, all of these books that you have suffered to kind of give people an insight of what you were doing with that mighty hand and that stretched out arm. And yet, here it is, we in the year 2023, they still lost without a cause because the book has now been present before them and they still lost. They have said they have awakened and they're still lost. So what he's saying is, even with Ruth and Naomi, it wasn't about the females. It wasn't about her. It was about connecting the bloodline because the bloodline got cut off when the husband and the two sons got killed. Okay, that was the bloodline that connects to Joseph back into the spiritual bloodline. These were the spiritual bloodlines that got disconnected. And Ruth and Naomi's story were to bring those that spiritual bloodline back together. See, and man looks at the story and they look at it as in the natural. They can't see the spiritual mission. And that's the whole book. This whole book is in instructions and direction that has some of y'all's signature finger from his stretched out arm and his right hand. But what people don't understand, you cannot put a higher in the, or are you sure? No, you cannot put a higher in the line with man. You have to be able to see how he orchestrated these things. You can't see it with your natural. You can only see it after he is in you, working in you, revealing things in you, showing you things, and showing you things of old. He has to do that. Sister Deborah don't have nothing in her. I mean, within her flesh, they can do or say what I'm about to say or have said. So what he was telling me is, let me go back to Naomi and Ruth. If you read that story, you get in that story, it seems like it's a story about two women. And they were working the work. No, baby, when you look at it in spirit and truth, you can see how Ahia was trying to connect the bloodline. The bloodline. And when you miss the bloodline, because it is spirit, you missed it. He was connecting the spiritual bloodline back down to the Messiah. It had got broken off when the father and his son, Ruth and Naomi, when the father and son was killed in the war, that broke the spiritual bloodline. So Ahia connect the spiritual bloodline back up with their relative, okay, the king. So that's how he was bringing the spiritual bloodline back on down to the Messiah. See, it was the spiritual bloodline in the story that was being connected. It wasn't the bloodline of the women. It was the bloodline of her husband and her children, okay, that was coming down, that had died, okay? So they were coming down, but we missed the story because we get caught up in the flesh. And what the flesh is the story of the people that are being spoken of. We got to step out of that. Just like looking at Sister Deborah. Don't look at Sister Deborah as, okay, she's all that in y'all. She's a true woman of y'all. She's all that. No, look at Ahia in Sister Deborah, speaking his word out of Sister Deborah, giving Sister Deborah's visions and dreams and prophecies. That's what you have to look at. It is not, and that's how people put people here. And the moment somebody say something, the moment Sister Deborah say something out of line, people get all bent. That's why you get bent, because you're not in the proper line you should be in with the Father. See, the Father, let me tell you something, he'll make the straight crooked and the crooked straight. But he said it's finished. He's not doing that right now. He's not in that anymore. He's not going to reveal these things unto you anymore. That's it. He's finished. Now, what he was speaking of, let me. Now, what he was speaking of was that there is, since they divide his whole orchestration up into old and new, he said you cannot put old with new and expect to have a balance. You can't do it. You can't put the old with the new, he said. So you have to be able to take heed to the Ruach that's in you that teaches you the difference between Torah as they want to claim it and the old versus the new. And it is a difference, but they don't want to receive the difference. It's because they want to stay in the line life of the flesh of man. They want to stay in that guideline of the flesh. They don't want to move over to the realm of the spirit. Okay, and that's where the new sheriff in town, which is the Messiah, came. They don't want to step over in that part of life and say, wait a minute, we buckling up on this old. We cannot slide this old into this new and make it okay. We can't do it, he said. Now, this is what he said. He said, Deborah, in the old was about keeping the bloodline. The bloodline in the old were the bloodline of the flesh along with the bloodline of the spirit. I was keeping it intact. I was keeping the bloodline of the natural intact with the bloodline of the spirit. But when Messiah came on the scene, that woman separated the bloodline of the spirit from the bloodline of the flesh. How was that done? She was put there to separate now Joseph's bloodline all the way to David, the natural bloodline, from the Messiah himself, and only kept the bloodline of the spirit. That was the Holy Spirit that was in her. That was the spiritual bloodline. So Mary was carrying two bloodlines. Why was she carrying two bloodlines? Because Ahiah had given her a seed, like unto a man. Yah has given her that which no woman on the face of the earth ever received, and that was a seed. And she's given her two. And those two normally would fall under the bloodline of David all the way down to Joseph. David had the bloodline of the spirit, and David had the bloodline of the flesh. Traveled all the way down to Joseph, both of them. But when it got down to Joseph, okay, Joseph become the father now in the bloodline of the spirit. Of what? Of the bloodline that Mary was carrying in the spirit, which was the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost, the Ruach HaKodesh. See, Mary was born, she had carried two things in her womb. She carried the Holy Spirit, and she carried the bloodline of a man. A woman can't carry the bloodline, but Mary did, because this is showing you, Sister Deborah gets to see stuff like this. Why? Because I have saluted the power of the Most High Ahiah. Oh, it can do anything. In case y'all didn't know that. And that's how I see it. I don't see it like people see it. I see it like I've seen it. How about that? How about that? I see it like I've seen it. Okay? So he was saying that it's a big difference as it is as far as the distance of north and south. He said, but what they're doing is, and what they have done, they try to bring the old and mix it with the new. They the ones split it up and said old and new. When you hear the Old Testament, New Testament, he's saying you cannot bring yesterday into the form. Listen to what he said. Into the form of flesh and spirit today. You can't bring those forms from the old into the flesh and spirit today. This is why. The separation came in. I'm going to go in and give it to you like he gave it to me. I'm going to try my best. I ain't going to try my best. Father, greater is thee that is in me than he that is in the world. You speak through me to give it unto them like unto you have given it unto me this morning. And I give you all praise and honor and glory. There was an old and a new. Just as you were young, you began to age and get older. So we're going to put that kind of in the picture. He's saying that you can't use Torah and press it upon today's in the way where you slinging it to be the power. It wasn't the power back then as it is today. That's what Messiah was saying. I'm not coming to change what was of the prophet, what was of the Torah, but I'm coming to fulfill. So to fulfill it, believe it or not, it will and it shall interfere with what was, because he is. See, is it what is? Is it what was? Or is it today what is? So think about the Messiah. He said that I'm gonna get on the topic he was leaning toward when he was speaking it, because he shot it to me like a quicken. He said, today it's not about the blood. It's not about the blood of the flesh. It is about the blood of the spirit. It is not about the blood of the flesh. It is about the blood of the spirit. Back in Torah, he did not want them to be grafted in and have different nations coming in the bloodline, because he was sealing the bloodline all the way to Joseph. He knew his plan. The father knew what he was doing. He was sealing then the bloodline all the way from David all the way to Joseph, the one that Mary married. That's the blood, the natural bloodline he had sealed. And this is why there couldn't be any mixed nations with Israel. It's because there was a mission before the foundation of the world, is to see the bloodline along with the spiritual line come into one form, straight down to Joseph. Let me explain that. When you speak of David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Joseph, Solomon, all of them were coming down the natural and the spiritual bloodline. They came all the way down, and then you remember Naomi and Ruth? The bloodline got broken a little bit, and then he fixed it right back up. He took what? Women to work that thing, to bring that thing back in. It wasn't men. It wasn't the king. It wasn't men, you guys. It was the two women. And see, we missed it because we so busy listening to the control and the flesh of men and women and their interpretation of a book that the Catholic Roman have put so much crap in it, to where I am so glad that the Father knew the whole mission of Satan's right hand. The Father knew the whole mission of Satan's right hand. He already knew it before the foundation of the world, the beginning to the end. So Satan's mission is not undercutting Yah and Yah's will. It's rumbling underneath the Father's will, according to what a higher has suffered it too. So a lot of people don't know it was those women he was bringing back the natural bloodline to connect back into the bloodline of David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on down to Joseph, the one that took on married Mary. Now I'm gonna show you where the Father want me to let you know that they missed it as they missed everything, even in the old. He said, even in the old, when they got where they missed it is they went through too many books. They never thought to just bow down and tarry until I come, until I indulge them with my spirit. And being so they refused to do that, he allowed them to go where their own heart and mind desire. Let them learn everything they can possibly learn so that they can deceive many based on their learning ability of their own flesh. That's why they can give their flesh the credit. They can give their flesh the honor. They can worship their flesh wisdom. They can worship their flesh knowledge. They can worship their flesh understanding because they have felt that everything that I have, I've given because I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm good at my study. I'm good at what I'm understanding. I'm good at Hebrew. I'm good at Greek. I'm good at the Old Testament. I'm good at the New Testament. I know this book, this book, this book, but they don't understand you good in the flesh of deceiving. Now, this is what he was saying in the bathroom. He was saying there's what has happened back then. It was about keeping the bloodline and the spiritual bloodline together. This is the reason why he did not want them to entangle in different nations and them to marry different women from other nation and women marry different men from other nation. He did not want that back then because he was really trying to send a message to us yesterday and today and forevermore has it been that look, you can't mess up the bloodline in which I have created. Okay. And I created the bloodline to come down one natural bloodline and one spiritual bloodline. So that's why when you go to Matthew's chapter 1 and you see all the ones that came down, the bloodline of the spirit and the bloodline of the natural. Okay. But guess what happened? Here comes Joseph. Joseph was the last bloodline of the spirit and the bloodline of the flesh from David on down. From David on down. He wants me to share with you, and I know it's just going to go real quick over everybody's head. Because when you've been taught for so many years, it's like going out in the middle of the ocean. You can't see nothing but where you at. You can't even see dry land. That's how far gone you're here. And the Ruach is not there to teach you because you've gone too far out on your own. Because you think it's about what you know yourself and what you have taught yourself and who you have gotten under and learned. Only one you were supposed to get under, and that was the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? Now, I'm going to throw down a mystery, and it's no longer going to be a mystery with Sister Deborah as to giving it to you all. And it is, the Father said in the bathroom, I was keeping the bloodline pure, Deborah. That's why I did not want them to mix with different cultures and different races. All the way down to Joseph was the bloodline pure in the spirit and in the flesh. But Deborah, tell them things change. Things change at the sight of Mary. Things change. He said they missed it just like they missed the word us in Genesis chapter 1 and 26. If you don't understand us in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, he said you don't know nothing about what you're teaching, even if you've been in it for 29, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, you still lost without a cause. Because those two verses was power punches in there to where it gives you a good jump off. Let me say that example. when I'm running, I used to run track. I used to do the 100, the 440, and the 220 relay. The 220 and the 440 relay. Now, there was an issue when we would be down at the 100-yard dash. My legs were so powerful. When I take off, my stand kicks back, and they had to call it out until they drill another one in for me. I get over there, I kick another one because it's a push off. You see, it was like you have to be down and you push off onto the stand, but my stand couldn't hold the strength of my legs. Now, eventually, yes, I did get one because they one also stood behind my stand. So when I kick off, it can just give me the steel that I needed to take off in the 100-yard dash. Okay, so that is what he's kind of giving me a picture of when the Messiah came on the scene. It kicked off. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Thank you. It kicked off a fulfillment. It fulfilled so much, you guys. Even today, you got 99.9 lost without a cause. So this is what he was saying. When the Messiah came, now it's a new thing. Old things pass away. And you even become a new creature. But what these people are teaching today is you got to grip Torah. You got to do it the way Torah said to do it. You have to do it. Did. It's got to be did. Yes, let your and those that you lead be under that. But let my Father's children alone. They are not a part of that clique. They need to be set free in the spirit so that they can worship the Most High or higher. So he said that Deborah with Mary came a new sheriff in town. He said, Joseph, I didn't need his blood, nor did I need Joseph's spirit, the bloodline of his spirit. Because what I put in woman, was a seed of a man. And not one woman on the face of the earth really gripped that. That she didn't need Joseph's seed to hold the bloodline in the natural. Because we had a new sheriff stepped in town and we never recognized him, even to today. We never honored him or salute him as our king. But really, seriously, he was. What made him that? That's what he was revealing to me in the water. He said, what he did with Mary, he gave her what men have, which is a seed. And it was a seed of a man. And I called him, Deborah, the Son of Man that was born of a woman. Deborah, tell them that all the way down to David and Joseph, from David all the way down to Joseph, who married Mary, all the way from David, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Solomon, everybody came the bloodline of the natural, the true bloodline. They were all bloodline relative and bloodline of the spirit. Bam, hold up, Joseph, stand down. Stand down. Mary, I'm going to give you something that has never been done. I'm going to give you the seed of a man. And not only that, Guess what I'm going to give you, Mary? I'm going to give you my Ruach HaKodesh. And it's going to live in you, in the Son of Man. And you're going to birth that thing. And it's going to save everybody. But Mary, I don't want the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Mary, I know it. Mary, I don't want Joseph's seed. I don't want the bloodline all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Solomon. I don't want the bloodline. I want to give you, Mary, a new seed. And this seed is the Son of Man. But Mary, I'm going to give you something else. It's going to be in the Son of Man. It's going to be in you. It's my Ruach HaKodesh. And you're going to bring forth. And when you bring them forth, you're going to call him Yeshua HaMashiach, meaning Christ is with thee. Yah, not Christ. Yah, Emmanuel, Yah with thee. Now, this is what he trusts a woman with. The Messiah. The Messiah himself. Born of a woman, not of a man. Why was Mary so detached to the Son of Man? Because the Son of Man, if they had to do his DNA, it would be of the mother of Mary. This is one thing that has been created that no religion will ever, as long as this earth is before us, embrace. This is the power of the Most High orchestration from the heaven that no man, dead or alive, would ever own. So you got to understand that there are a nation of people that's so stuck on stupid, they only claim the bloodline. And they don't understand those that you are claiming bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is not it. Because you got to be able to not just claim the bloodline, but you got to put the spiritual line before the bloodline. Now, do you have the spiritual line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Or do you just have the bloodline? Wait a minute, hold up. You got two promises here. The promise of the land and the promise of the Spirit. So what he was saying, if anyone question or have any idea of how powerful the breakdown is from the old to the new, go right into the realm of Mary, the Son of Man, and the Son of Yah in her with the Ruach HaKodesh. That broke every barrier that ever stood up in the new. New has to stand down. Praise the mighty Yah. And where he was leading me to, he did it in the quicken, was, why was that coming to me early this morning in the water. This is why he want me to let you know. There are those out there that would take this last hour, we running up in the minutes of our highest time in life, and focus on black and white. Black women marrying white men and white women marrying black men, or black men were marrying white women. We need to get off of that crap. How you know that none of that matters anymore? Because Yah is not chasing the bloodline in the spiritual line. He's not chasing the Old Testament, trying to keep David, Abraham, Isaac, all them bloodline connected to Joseph. That time end with Joseph, you guys. Why did it end? Because there was a new sheriff came in town, and his name was Yeshua HaMashiach. That broke it in half. He came down as the Son of Man. That's the flesh and the blood, and the Son of Yah. You see? In one. So the whole idea of what they're talking about, there's no more need of the Son of Man in the bloodline of the flesh. There's no more need of the flesh, but only of the spirit. So therefore, that's what Mary came to do. Break the ties. How was it? Mary didn't come to do it, but he set it in woman. That's why you wonder why woman is, and she ran into the this way, and she ran this way. Woman is woman that Mother Earth. That's why, because y'all missed it from the beginning. So he saw that y'all never get it, as he prophesied that you wouldn't. You can see the breakthrough, the change. A woman having a seed? The seed came from the sperm of a man. Wait a minute, I don't need them, Deborah. I got her. I'm going to put the seed in her. And when he put the seed in her, he brought forth Yeshua, which was once an angel, brought lower than the other angel. For what? For the mission of the sacrifice. The blood sacrifice had to be like unto a man in the flesh. So could Yeshua have come down without the Son of Yah? Yes, he could. Yeshua could have come down without the Son of Yah. Yeshua could have come down, born of a woman, without the Son of Yah. He is the Son of Man. Could he have come down without the Son of Yah? Yes. Could the mission be completed? No. Why? Because many angels came down as the sons of Yah, and they were murdered, killed, and destroyed. So this new thing coming down, he redid it all over. He took Adam and said to Adam in the Garden of Eve, I don't need you. I don't need the bloodline of a man. I don't need a man's sperm, Deborah. Tell her. I have a seed that I'm going to put into the woman. A woman that hasn't had any connection to a man. This is where you see the difference in Adam and Yeshua. That was one of the big difference, and everybody missed it. One of the big difference. This one was born of a seed of a woman and given the Ruach HaKodesh, to where Yeshua, an angel made lower than the other angel, for the purpose of the sacrifice, the lamb slaughtered before the foundation of the world. Oops, sit here on my right side till I make that earth over there your footstool. So Yeshua could not have survived on the earth by himself. The mission was that I'm coming. All of who I am in the heaven, I give unto thee. So what I have, I give unto thee. Now, when he gave that to Yeshua, does that mean he can't sit in the heaven? Hallelujah. You don't know him like you think you know. Because he can be there, and he can be here. He can be there, and he can be here. He can be everywhere and still yet be there. That's what you don't know about my Most High or higher. I salute his will because it's perfect. It's excellent in all its ways. So the purpose of him giving me that in the bathroom this morning was to say to you all, this white and black thing, y'all need to kick it to the curb, he said. It's a game that you're just playing with yourself. It has no power nor authority in today's day. Even those that believe through faith and faith that believe, and faith that believe that were grafted in. They were grafted into my spiritual bloodline. So therefore, if you thinking I'm chasing in this day and time, the bloodline of the flesh, it's over. It was over at Joseph. Joseph was the last end to the connection to the Messiahs, which by him having the bloodline in the spirit and the bloodline in the flesh, it ended there. The Father just wanted you all to know that that's where it ended. A new sheriff came in town when the Son of Man was connected with the Son of Yah. And this is the new thing. So Yeshua say, I ain't coming to be dealing with the old now, y'all. Get on up out of here. I'm coming to fulfill all things. What was that fulfilling? The things in which the old had gotten off of, which the old had had no respect for, no integrity, no dignity, no nothing. I just come to fulfill it. You see? They didn't get it. I ain't coming to mess with it. I'm coming to do me. The Father has given me his word, his spirit, and now also the greatest part, Christ HaMashiach. Stand down. That's what Yeshua was coming to do. Because all that he needed to take him to the tree to sacrifice his life, or to the cross, whatever you may say, we know that he died. It ain't about which tree and how, what color it is, or if it was a cross, if it was a tree. A cross at that time was made out of a tree. It doesn't matter. But that he sacrificed to be the blood sacrifice as the lamb for our sins. To redeem us. That's the way of the Yah. That was the way of Yah back into the bosom of the Father. Because we had gotten off a course. And the only way back was to bring another man down. Born of a woman this time. We don't want no nasty man's sperm. We don't need his sperm. We got to get his mind off of this. We got to get his mind. That's why he didn't come down here playing the male or the alpha or the male sick lust and rust. And I know the world's trying to make him that way, but let me tell you something. That stuff was created in the heaven. The world can make it whatever it wants to. And the only reason why the world make it What it makes it is because you support the world in making it the negative, the darkness, and the wicked that it is. So you all lost it in Matthew's when Mary's, you lost Mary mission, you lost her purpose, you lost her everything. And with that, also, it's going to bring me to what I was speaking of yesterday. And this is why they too put much emphasis on Mary. Father, yeah. Oh, you taking me deep, deep. Woo, I didn't never thought. Oh, Father, thank you. That's deep. That's deep. And as he was saying, that we turn around and we make it a black and white thing. White women marrying black men marrying white women. A lot of people don't understand, especially the Hebrew Israelite women. They don't understand your men are gone. They're gone spiritual, mentally, physically, naturally. They're gone. And when a black woman sees a white man treat her like the black men should have treated her or have respect for her, this is what makes her see that life is worth living. And there is a man out here. There is. I might have to go on this end to get it. And the same thing with black men. Their minds have always been wicked in what they want from a white woman. They think they have hit heaven. That's the difference in the mindset. They think they'd have struck gold. You see the difference? There's a difference when the black women marry the white man versus the black men marry the white women. Because most of the time, they're just white women that white men are through with. So they get the white women that white men don't want and don't care that the black men has. That's why black men, when they get money, they go to use their money to get that white woman. They wouldn't have never went that way if they didn't have the money. You see, the white women become they all in all because of what? Money. But look at the black woman. It's different. But y'all want me to tell you it doesn't matter anymore. That you have to understand what happened with Mary and the Messiah coming down. Things were changed. Things were fulfilled. Things were sealed. You cannot take the old and try to screw up what took place during the time of the Messiah. You cannot. You cannot take the Messiah and put him under the old as you feel that everybody should be. If everybody was under the old, guess what? It'll be exactly the way it is today. Because what he said happened yesterday is a product of what you see today. What draws the line? What draws the line between the two? The Ruach HaKodesh that came down in the Son of Man, born of a woman. That's what we missed. We missed that too. We missed Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and we missed the whole overall of the Son of Man with the Son of Yah coming down, born in a woman without using the sperm, the seed of a man. This is why Yeshua was able to complete his mission to the utmost, because he had the Holy Spirit and he didn't have the seed of a man. So that's what he was sharing with me. So he said, back then, there was skepticals and it was spoken to not mix with different races. You can't use it today. You can't use it because the Messiah stepped in, and things were changed as far as the way Yah sees things. You notice the stranger, which is the Gentiles, were grafted in. How were they grafted in? Through belief and through faith. Through belief and through faith. Now, where did they belief come from in their faith? Not from their flesh. Not from their flesh, but from heaven, who has sealed them with belief and faith. Just as he has sealed Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and David them with the brand righteous, belief, faith, and fear. They were not only the bloodline of relatives in the natural, but they were the bloodline of the relatives in the spirit, and the Father being their Father. Okay, so I kind of took that a lot of places. I didn't even know I was going to go, but I just thank the Father for it. But this goes back to, let's go back to Mary. This is why, and it leads me to believe. And then people might say, I try to get people to tell you don't know nothing. People quick to say, yeah, I knew that, and I thought that, I saw that, I understand that. Please, take out time to hear and to search the Ruach within you, if he's there, for more understanding and more wisdom and more knowledge in the spirit, and not so much as in the flesh, where it proceeds out of your mouth that you have so much wisdom. It proceeds out of your mouth that you have so much knowledge. It proceeds out of your mouth that you have more understanding. Have more of that in you, in the inner man, and glorify him that's in the inner man for all those things in your spirit, and then let him cut it loose in your flesh. Okay? Now, yesterday we talked about the Roman Pope, the Roman Catholics. They are the orchestration of all things in the earth and what you see on the face of the earth. I was told to go on Google and pull up religion in the world. And then they set a round measurement showing you the Christians, Islam, and Buddha, and all different religion. And he said, do you see something? I said, I see Catholics, not Catholic, Christians is heavy. You see a large part is Christians. And then you see a large part is Islam. I say, okay, what's the deal with that? Why is that? I said, but something missing. No, I didn't say something. He said, you see something that's missing? I said, wait a minute, is Catholics the same as Christian? He said, that's where they hide. They hide under the word Christian. So the world, the whole world on the four corners won't know who they are. They are the power punches. They are the elites. They are the fake Jews, in case y'all didn't know that. No, you didn't know that. That was a part of their orchestration from the beginning. From the beginning. It was handed over unto them by the higher power, Ahaya. And they took it on, every part of it, to its utmost. It is Satan's right hand and stretched out on. It is a shield. So I say, well, how is it that the Catholics hiding up in here? He say, the Catholics are the United States, Europe, half of Russia, and on every continent, in every country, the Catholics. The Catholics is over. It's over. And then what shocked me was, and he says, they also 70% of Africa. So we see how we be clowning. We cutting up from the floor up for nothing. That's why I know in Deuteronomy 28 end game, we will be gone. We are gone as a people. Mentally, we are gone. We are gone. We don't have nothing to really uh, run on in outside of Yah. That's the whole intent. To only turn to the one that has all power in his hand. But 99.9 of the Hebrew Israelites don't know nothing about the power. They're outside of the body of Hamashiach, hooping and hollering. But let me explain something. So the Catholics is hiding behind the Christians, just as the Jews, the fake Jews over in Israel, in Jerusalem, that has parked themselves there. Because I said as a teenager, I said, wait a minute, something strange. I say, I see crutch. You know how your crutches that you put when you got a broken leg? I see the United States being the crutch of Israel. Ever since I was like 15. That's the way I saw it. Come to understand, they were the crutch for those that say that they the true Jews and they are over in Israel. But let me show you the spiritual insight. The Roman Catholics are the power punches for Satan. They are his right hand. They are his stretched out arm. Okay? They hide behind everything. But everything that has power on the earth or has authority and wealth knows that the Catholics are behind it all. They know they 100% behind it all. And they don't have any problem. They're in there with them. So when we see where he says Babylon has fallen, and we see Revelation 18, we really don't understand it because we're constantly hearing the flesh of man. That means their wisdom, their knowledge, and their understanding, and their interpretation, their precepts in the way they understand it. But see, this thing don't come by the flesh of man. It never did and never will. He said this come by hearing. And this hearing has to be a ear, one ear. And it has to have the power to cause one to hear from the inside out. Okay? So he that has an ear is the Ruach HaKodesh. He that has the Ruach HaKodesh, let him hear. Because all it takes is one ear. And it's a spiritual ear. So what has happened is they have believed that Revelation 18 is when he's going to do what he's going to do to Babylon. They rushed into it with a religion called the Hebrew Israelite movement. And they really stuck out there because it was a bunch of men that have boast and pride-minded, self-centered, self-motivated, self-ego, all those things that has no connection to a real creator. More so things that represent Satan. So what has happened is they missed out of spirit and truth because they didn't accept spirit and truth that first brought the light. And then with the light, it wanted us to sit up under him in spirit and truth. But what we did, we said, no, we want YouTube, we want Facebook, we want Twitter, we want Instagram, give me Patreon, give me Rumble, give me everything except for the Ruach HaKodesh. So they turned their ways and their faces toward the teaching of man and women, but 90% toward men, to get what Ahia said that he would give them if they seek ye him first. They didn't want that. Okay? So what has happened is they just lost out there without a cause. Because everything is plainly seen. Everything is going on in television. You see how one country killed a lot of their animals. Now, United States got a clip, I think he started yesterday, saying that now the animals are carrying a disease. And what they're going to do is they subject, I'm just saying, subject to turn around and tap into every household animals and have them deleted. I wouldn't put it past them. So, because they're dealing with you they want to deal with your emotions and with your feelings, just as they did with the biochemical to get you in your house, close you out, and deal with you and control you from that level. And it worked 100. It worked 100 toward their favor. That's why China running over here, bringing things in the sky to see the emotion of the people. And the emotion of the people are so weak and so low, they don't even care. They don't care. They don't understand what they're doing. They testing you all. But that's just how far from any type of truth or light the people in this world is. Now, he wants you to understand that when you go to Google, you key it up and you'll see Christians bumping up against Islam. He wants you to understand the Christians are carrying many because the power punch that's hiding behind Christians are the Catholics. And that's really what making Christian so booming and so high in numbers. The reality of it is the Catholics is hiding behind them. And what happened is the Catholics got over to Europe and other countries, along with, let me get it right, Europe and Russia, and decided, let's go over. Let's have a plan. Okay. We're going to get a group of people and we're going to say that they are the Jews. And we're going to exterminate them by first informing them that they have a disease. They have something that's going on that will lead them to feel that it's okay. They're going to put stuff, what I believe is, what I'm telling you, now I'm going to go and say it the way it is. A lot of them was given something. These people were thinking they were getting something to drink and eat. Things were put in for their minds to just walk straight into the gas chamber, for their minds to walk straight into a place of fire, their minds to walk themselves straight into death. This is how they did these people. Why? Because the plan were to say that they were the Jews. Why? Because they were coming over to Jerusalem and Israel to seize. British was in on it as well. That's also part of the Roman Pope as well, the Roman Catholic. That was another one that's connected to them. And they decided that we're going to go over there and we're going to seize this country. Jerusalem and Israel. And they caused us, because of what we did against the Most Higher, we fled to Africa. A lot of us running over there and talking about Africa. You better, let me tell y'all, that's why I say to y'all, a lot of people, especially Hebrew Israelites, they sick. They gone. They gone because they do so much searching, so much history searching, so much searching that they don't even understand. Their people are gone. Search Deuteronomy 28 end game. Search Deuteronomy 28 end game. Search Deuteronomy 28 end game and see how far you get. But they decided the plan were to come and seize and take the land that was known in the beginning. In the beginning of creation. See, we thought that they just wanted the land. Y'all didn't know what the Father had embedded in that land. Jewels, golds, and many things were in that land. And a lot of us, even today, call ourselves scholars, Torah learners, Bible believers, and just thinking we just everything, but we ain't got sense. to realize we don't have the Ruach HaKodesh to be the true teacher in us of all things. So what happened? They decided to go over there. They knew what was invested in there. They knew. And yes, it was a land that was closer to Africa, but it was stuff that he had put in there in that land, closer to Ethiopia. He had put many things. Go into Genesis. Look at what he put in the near the rivers and all of that. This is why they wanted that land. We run over straight over to Africa, all different parts. And Africa saw us coming. Africa has always, it wasn't called Africa. It has always been wicked and evil. Always been. I seen them when I was a little girl on television, killing their people, for the government. And who was the government? The Roman Catholics. Their whole system is built up and backed up with the Roman Catholics. Even those that's over there fighting now. And they fight each other. Each other, like our Negroes over here. But they fight each other for real. And guess what? The power behind it is the Catholics. Everything that's ruled underground and on the earth is the power of Roman Catholics. The Roman Catholic put in the word charity. And I said to the Father, why was this word put in here? Because this does not, me knowing you, you knowing me, and I knowing you, me knowing you, you knowing me, and I knowing you. I never sat well, even as a teenager, with that word charity. There's many words in the book that I don't sit well with. Why? Because when the Ruach HaKodesh comes, it comes to teach you all things. And it's not coming to teach you some things. Let me tell you why it's coming to teach you all things. Because when you start to salute his will and salute his way, and you are saying to him, Father, you are all that and some. It's not about you agreeing with his will. It's not about you embracing his will. You liking his will. You're feeling his will. It's about you just saluting and saying, you know all things. You are all things. Bam! You are the creator. And leave it alone. Leave it there. A lot of people don't get that, and they won't get it. So the Roman Catholics are hiding and have hide. They was the one that planned the whole gathering of the ships and preparing it. And British, Roman, Russia, part of Russia, it wasn't all of Russia, part of Russia, the United States, they got the land, and they had the people in Europe. They were a part of it, of the Catholic, to run it and to say that they are the true Jews. That's how easy it was and how simple it was. But you get on this devil platform, you hear these Negroes talking about they searching their history. They searching their history like searching a pair of shoes that they can fit on their foot. That's just how weak it is to me, and lame and fleshly. What are you over there searching that for? It has no spirit and truth in it. You see what I'm saying? But what he was explaining to me is that they have hid their power. And when he come into Revelation 18, he's not trying, because he got me to see it. I salute it. That what he's doing is he's bringing down that system of the Catholic, the Roman popes, the Roman Catholic. That's why they nailed their name, Catholic Charity, all over the world, all over four corners. Catholic Charity. Because they took and add that into the book, like they added a lot of things in there, and you can only see it through the Ruach HaKodesh. You cannot see it in there. That's why a lot of them don't want the Ruach to teach them, is because they can't deal with the fact that they didn't know anything, and they don't know anything, or they don't know truth. They don't know spirit and truth, and they don't have the light. But before they can give up the fact or say that they don't have, they rather stick with what they have and make you think that it's about what they said that it is. Okay? So what has happened is they have taken on the whole overall of the world. But that's why when it says Babylon, it's not talking about just this country. It's talking about a system. And the Father knows exactly when he say Babylon, he knows what kind of system it is. We're still stuck on stupid, thinking we know it because of Torah and because we think we know. No, Babylon is a system. And the system the one that runs the system is the Roman Catholics. Okay? They have also, now let me kind of back it up just a little bit. They are also the ones who went into Mary, okay? And they have their symbol, their symbol, their symbol that they represented all the way to the Bible to Mary is a woman uterus and her fallopian tubes, and not only that, her clitoris. That's their symbol. Why? Because they want to steal, kill, and destroy everything that Ahia has made up and created for his purpose. And they done an excellent job at it. Because that's their symbol. I went to New York, and when I saw it, my son said, Mama, what's wrong with you? I said, you mean they got these symbols here? I thought they was only in Missouri and in Atlanta. They got it all over the world. It's a symbol you all know nothing about. Even the Hebrew Israelites. They're never going to know anything because they are destroyed from Deuteronomy 28 of knowing anything. That's why they go run around and teach you all things that doesn't make any sense, that has no power, that has no anointing, no nothing. That's why they can get on here and teach you what's going on in the world as if you can't see it. Because they can't teach you spirit and truth. So they have to give you what's going on in your city, in your state. Because they can't teach you nothing else. But they have I was hurt. And my son was like, what's wrong with you? I said, because they got it here. And what I believe it, Ripley, believe it or not, they got these cages and these torture chambers, all kind of stuff that they used to do way back in 1600. And I'm like looking at it, and they got, guess what symbol they got on it? The Roman Catholic symbol. That's why they worship Mary. Because they know Mary ain't the one. They know Mary ain't the one. They worship everything that has to do with her clitoris, her ovaries, her womb. They worship everything against the worship of the Most High Ahia. That's why they worship Mary. And they worship all her organs. And just because we as a people have been ignorant all our lives, strictly ignorant, and still up until today, we don't see where the Father is showing you how he took a woman and overly blessed her in a way that shall always be remembered. Look how he did with the lady who I think she washed his feet, or she did. He told them to remember her always, as long as they are to remember her. So there should be fragrance, oil in the presence of the anointed of those that's in the anointed places of the Most High. He said, always remember what she did. Always. Yeshua said that. Do you think these men did that? They have stripped everything that Ahia meant for to be holy and righteous. They have torn down every stage, and it starts with a woman. So what happens? The Roman Pope saw that. I'm going to show you how sad it is regarding this. Is why I try to explain to y'all how you thinking these men in the Hebrew Israelite all upright and righteous and all these scholars and want to be this and I'm a pastor, I'm a bishop, I'm a apostle, I'm a prophet, I'm a prophet, I'm a Maureen, I'm a seer. You's a fool, and you is a fool. Because you're lost without a cause. So the power punch of the world for Satan, his right hand, is the Roman Catholics. They the one hooked up with those in Africa to come have us seize so that they can use us as slaves and murder us as well. Why? Because the key was given to them to orchestrate the curse. And in it, even after we say today that we awaken, you see how sleep we really are. We are still yet asleep because we don't even see who's behind it all. When we speak of the elites, they are the power punches, workers of the Roman Catholics. That's who the elites work for. When we speak of the fake Jews, they are the one that the Roman Pope had already went over to Egypt. I mean, not went over, took them from over in Europe, placed them there with the deal, and asked Germany, which was Hitler, if he could execute the people. You all don't know how all this was orchestrated with wealth. And wealth caused many to agree in it and with it. And the main goal is to always keep us down, the yoke upon our necks. But it wasn't because this is what power they had. It was the curse that Ahia had for us. Okay, so when you see those over in Europe, when you see those over in Jerusalem, Israel, know that the Catholics is behind them as well. All of it is the makeup of what is hidden. You see? And that's the shield of the Catholics, the Roman Catholics. They're hiding behind all different great religion. And they are the power punches, the wealth. So the Father said, when you get to Revelation 18 and you hear about how he's going to destroy it, he says that where you know that, Deborah, that the new sheriff is in town, these men can't tell y'all to shut up. Paul didn't tell them to tell you that. The Roman Pope had orchestrated things to keep the woman quiet because Mary was given something extraordinary. Just as Eve was given something extraordinary. That's why the man had to leave his parents and cleave to her, because everything that a man needed to fulfill the Father's will was in her. They come together in one. Everything that the man had, everything that she had, come into one unity with the Father. Father got this thing about oneness. He got this thing about oneness all the way to the kingdom. He got this thing about oneness, y'all. And that's another thing the Hebrew Israelites don't understand. That's why they can't unite. That's why they can't come together. That's why Sister Deborah can hoop and holler on this Deborah platform about coming together and uniting and let us do this. And I can hoop and holler it. But the Father said the spirits are not ready for it, Deborah, nor will they be. And I believe him, not you. You see? So it's a problem, but yet no one seems to tap into it and say, you know, that's something to think about. Yes, it is. Because when Sister Deborah was talking about the body of Hamashiach, which is the body of Christ as the world knows it, guess what? Somewhere, if he is the power, the question to me, to the Father, Wait a minute. What's the deal with the body, Father? We all up in there, but yet we so separate from each other. We think different, we feel different, we act different. But we in the body. And then that's when he began to tell me, Deborah, the majority of the body don't even know their purpose in the body. They don't even have their mission. And it's sitting right in them, resting right there. They don't even feel the anointing that I have appointed them in the body. They don't know their calling. They don't know their purpose. They don't know my will in them. They don't know nothing, but they want to come and try to tell you about what I put in you. When he shared that with me, I said, thank you. You know I needed that. Because see, Sister Deborah, one thing about it, I think like a flesh and blood, but that spirit in me that's greater, he'll check me quick. No, baby, you in that flesh, but you own it. You thinking right. You feeling this thing right. You seeing this thing right, and you definitely hearing it right. So don't put so much emphasis on beating yourself because they ain't where they should be. 99.9 get on your platform and don't even know they calling. Don't know their purpose. Don't know nothing about their anointed. Don't know if they appointed. All they want to know is, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I see it. You ain't the only one. This. But what are you for? In the body of Hamashiach. Go back and read what's in the body so you can educate yourself. And then you'll understand what Sister Deborah said. The Roman Catholics, now this information I'm giving you all, guess what? It is light to the spirit. It's not going to change nothing. It's just showing you how far lost you are. So you can understand. This yang, they teaching y'all. You can stay in that darkness, or you can walk in the light of spirit and truth. Now, what he's saying is they knew something with Mary. That's why they worship Mary. They knew something about Mary that the Hebrew Israelite men would reject to every last one of y'all Negroes out there. Every last one of y'all in your nation, the Hebrew Israelite men were rejected. And that was, there's were a new sheriff in town. When he met up with Joseph and told Joseph what he was planting in Mary. But he told Mary that he gave her what she has and what it is. And I want to tell y'all what's so sad. What's so sad? He didn't use a man's seed. He didn't need a nasty man's seeds and his ways to create his Messiah. He created Yeshua as the Son of Man to let you know he was a man. He had blood like a man, flesh like a man. He's a man. But I had to turn the seed over to the woman. Because I didn't want it connected to none of the seed that came on down in the old. Wake up, old. Wake up, Torah. New sheriff in town. See, they don't get that. They don't get it. So what happens? The Catholics also went into Mary. Now, why is it they can go into Mary and create their whole power punch with Satan? And here we are still today. When we say men don't understand, whatever you do to a woman, you do it unto Mary. They don't understand that. So we have to bypass. If you say that, you feel that way about a woman, you talking about a woman, and you said a woman this and a woman that, you only talking about your mother and your grandmother. These men don't give a rest behind what they say about their mom and their grandmother. You remember it used to be a time you say something about my mama, you dead. Or it's fighting time. Now, I don't care. She ain't nothing but a bitch. She ain't no good. She this and she that. Well, where was your daddy? Where's Pawpaw? Oh, they ain't got nothing to say. They ain't got nothing to say. And that's where all the wicked came down. That dark line of the father. They ain't got nothing to say. But mama, grandmama, bitches and hoes. Ain't nothing, ain't this and this. That's why they can't find out in these last days. That's the knowledge increasing, y'all. He ain't talking about y'all monkey knowledge. Y'all ain't increasing in no knowledge. Talking about your history. You don't know nothing about your history till you pull up in the lane that says spirit and truth. Till you pull up in the next lane that says the light of righteousness. Outside of that, pull your tail on over there to your history. You ain't going nowhere with that. You gonna kick rocks. Okay? Lace up your boots and get it right. Okay, now let me explain something. Now with the Catholics, they knew something special about Mary. That's why Satan got on it. That's why Satan got on it. Said, hey, not only that, you gonna give her a seed. Oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna use her organs as a woman, as our logo. The Catholic charity, Roman Catholic has used her organs from her womb to her fallopian tube to her clitoris. Have they used still yet today? And they uses it to gain wicked power because they knew that Mary had something that a higher had invested in. Meaning, when you talk about grandma, you talk about mama, or great-great-grandma, you talk about a woman, you talk about these women, you know who you're talking about? You're talking about Mary. You think these men care? No. That's why they won't put no teaching in. Wait a minute, y'all. Something started over when Mary came. That old stuff, y'all. Wait a minute. Hold up. Something changed, y'all. That's what changed. He didn't need a man's sperm. He gave the seed unto a woman. And for her to have nourished him for 9 months, y'all. Come on, wake up. Her blood had to transfer to his. Not a man on this earth. Not a man on this earth would own that thing. But the Catholics own it. They even went and took her organs and her clitoris and used it as their logo. I hate that because everywhere you go in the world, you see that logo. You can see it. I'm gonna show you where you see Starbucks. Don't you see that woman with her legs wide open? You can go everywhere and see it. And y'all running around here talking about you awakening, you's a fool, and you's a fool, and you gonna be a fool that's gonna try Deuteronomy 28 end game and see where you stand today. Okay, so I don't like the idea that they did that. And it's kind of saddening to my heart right now because I'm speaking it, but it's saddening. Because it makes you think about the power in wickedness toward women, toward Mary. You see? It really does. It says a lot. It tells the story. So when you run around here saying, oh, I know it, I see it, I get it, I can understand it, you can't understand nothing. Learn to shut up and get up under the rock and let him give you the understanding. Because the understanding don't come by what Deborah say, what Deborah do, and how Deborah act. It comes through my Father's Spirit. Do you have the understanding? So when Sister Deborah is talking, Sister Deborah is not talking out of her flesh for your flesh to get it. You got to get this in the spirit of where it rests. Okay? Now, the sadness about it is, I just realized as I was speaking to you why this symbol rests in so many places around the world. Because it is the Roman Catholic that has hidden. And let me explain to you. You remember where it says in Revelation in chapter 2 and chapter 3 about, I know you are not the true Jews. I know that you are who you are. You are the synagogue of Satan. See there? It's not, which I don't understand is, it's not the land over there that's the synagogue. It's the people that works for Satan. They come from Europe, Russia. You see, they come out of the Catholic, Roman Catholics. They are the synagogue of Satan. It's a system. Bringing America down will cause Israel and Jerusalem, fake Jews, to lose their stumbling block. Not their stumbling block, to lose their crutch. It's like if I had two crutches trying to walk, their crutches is going to be snatched from underneath Israel and Jerusalem, underneath the fake Jews. And they're going to disappear. That means the power of Yah is now in the midst. He snatched Babylon so Babylon can do what? The crutches that Babylon was holding for Israel, he snatches those. Now, Babylon can't hold up Israel nor Jerusalem, so they fall. So when Babylon has fallen, the system is being brought down by a creator that you don't have to see, but yet believe. You don't have to. The good thing about the creator, he says in Romans chapter 1, he says, and everything that visible shows who he is. Why? Because that right hand brought it forth, his power. You see? So we walk around here and we see things and we think it's about what man says, what man do, how man do it, and how man see it is. No, baby, you better check yourself. See really who you serve. Because this is all from an invisible Yah that is visible because you can see everything that right hand has created. And what they have done is, I say to those that's running over to Africa and thinking Africa this and this and this, even those who are over in Jerusalem, Israel, no matter where you at, the power punches is the Roman Catholics. And they own 70% of Africa. You got more than 70%, no, probably about 70% Africans are Christians. See, everybody is hiding under the shield of Christians. So what I realize is that this is why I asked the Father, and I asked him this a couple of years ago, why is it Christians being hated? And why is it always on television, Christians being hated and they're being killed in different countries? I'm like, why? They ain't holding no truth. It's because they're holding the Roman Catholic shield. They're the shield to cover the Roman Catholics. And those that's fighting them, the Christian, they knows who behind the shield. Oh, hallelujah. While the ignorant Hebrew Israelites who ain't got nothing here thinking, all the Christians that, and the Christians that, you see how you partaker in hating the Christian so that the Roman Catholics can live up under them. That's why they hating the shield. Because those that's hating the shield, as the Hebrew Israelites, don't know who's under the shield. Meaning, who owns the shield. So Christians are just a product of the power of the Roman Catholics. That's it. And before you can get to the Roman Catholics, you have to defeat the Christians. That's why everybody's hooping and hollering about the Christians this, the Christians this. That's all the Hebrew Israelites ever said. The Christians this, the Christian this. They don't know nothing about the power puncher who holds Satan's right hand and his stretched out arm up. They don't understand that you were once in the Christians. If you have a relationship with them, I'm gonna bust a lot of bubbles right here. If you have had a relationship with the Most High or higher, and in this relationship you have had with the Most High or higher, you can give a testimony, and you have a testimony of your time past up until today. Meaning you can testify to the steps of your life that has been ordered by Yah. And it didn't order going down the steps, it ordered you going up. Sister Deborah have testimonies of my life going up the steps. And Christian church was included. I learned how to interpret the tongues and to know the different tongues. I was given the gift of tongues to interpret, but I could not interpret the tongues if I wasn't in an environment that has more than just the Holy Spirit tongue resting therein. So here I learned in the Christian church how to interpret the other tongues of Satan and of flesh and of the spirit in the Christian church. Why would there be an interpreter of tongues if there's no tongues to interpret? Why would y'all bring down gifts of interpreting tongues if there is not those that out here that has the gift of tongues? So when you run and you tell people there's no such thing as the tongues, nor the gift of tongues, you're a liar from the pit of somebody's hell, along with Satan and yours. These were gifts that the Father did give. I learned the gifts that was embedded in me sitting up in the Christian church. I had learned to sit not up in the front or in the middle, but go to the last seat in the back, so I won't be able to use my discerning gift that was poured out to me from the heaven. So I sit in the back. If I sit in the back, see, a lot of people don't like to sit in the back. They didn't know why I like to sit in the back. I sit in the back so I won't be knowing everybody's life while I'm sitting up front, because that's what happens. You sit on my right, sit on my left, in the back of me, in the front of me, I can discern their lives, the wicked and evil and the good. Just imagine going in a place and you're discerning your surroundings. And then when the pastor get up there, you already know what he's about to teach. Come on now. So what you do, you go all the way to the back. Now you ain't got nobody to discern you, because a lot of people don't sit in the back. So that's what I did. But I learned how to use that gift. I learned that gift was present. Did I abuse my gifts? Nope, never, ever, 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 ever. I learned that in the Christian church too. So what I'm trying to say unto you all, those were gifts that was given. What happened to the Hebrew Israelites? Where are their gifts? They have none. They never had none. They can't find them. They don't know nothing about them, because their gift is to deceive you and make you think it's about you looking, acting, and conducting yourself in an order that's pleasing to them. Men. They don't care if you are filled with the Ruach HaKodesh or you have full of the Holy Spirit. They don't care about that. They don't care about your calling in the body of Hamashiach. They don't care about nothing. They're caught up in what you call purity stupid. And that's where they're going to die. Okay. So I learned a lot in the Catholic Church. I learned a lot. Not in the Catholic Church. Why am I saying? In the Christian church. Okay. So many things I've learned. My first interpreter of tongues was my mother. We was on our knees and we were praying, and I heard her go into tongues, and I was able to hear her tongues and what it was saying. I learned what that tongue represents. He meant it when he says, when praises goes up, blessings come down. When he said tongues shall cease, he's saying they're going to cease out of the heart of men and women. They're going to turn away from my gifts, Deborah. That's how it's going to cease. And that's what is happening today and has happened. So don't tell me you understand. Don't tell me you know what I'm talking about. Don't tell me you get it. You have to get this thing and feel this thing. This thing, I'm telling you, people think this thing come from, it comes by them saying they got it. Them open their mouth to scriptures and quoting verse. No, baby, this thing is an inner thing. It's not an outer. So through that, I learned many things in the Christian church, and I thank the Father for the steps that He has ordered in my life, and they were steps to go up and reach where I'm at today. If it had not been for the steps from the ground on up that Ahia had orchestrated and has given me, and what do I teach? I teach what happened to me when I was 3 and 4, not 4, 3 and 4, but 4, and how I dealt with Yah. Why? Because of my testimonies. Then I can use them now. You see? But where was my testimonies? It was when I was young and in the Christian church, and the relationship when I was young that I had with the Father. See, I didn't make my relationship with the Most High a higher connected to the church. I couldn't, because my relationship started with him and I. Him really showing me as a young girl, as a little girl. You see, giving me as a little girl. So therefore, it didn't start in the Christian. It started, even though I think I started going to Christian churches at 6, 7, 8. I wanted to go with the neighbors when they were going. So I learned a lot in the Christian church. And that learning is my testimonies. He said, through your testimonies, if you ain't got testimonies around your learn, you ain't got nothing but a bunch of he say, she say mess. Okay, so those are the steps that the Father ordered for many of the Hebrew Israelites, but they have thrown their testimonies away because their newfound awakening tells them that they had the power because they are the people and they don't need their testimonies. They don't need nothing that happened in Christians. They don't have no. They got the Hebrew Israelite hating on the Christians, just as the whole world has now started a greater hate. They already had a hate against the Christian, but guess what? They didn't know who was the shield behind the Christians. The Roman Catholics. They the one had the plan to ship us over here. British, Russia had some plan. Catholics, Europe, and that's how y'all. I tell you, Negro men, y'all really some sick men. Because you do your search, but you don't do your search. The search is not around heathens in the in the history. It's also would show up and show out on Africa. Because they were also part of the shield that hid the Roman Catholics. British, all of them played a role, a big role, a big role. They got together and came to one. So when I see the Hebrew Israelites acting a fool, acting a monkey, and cutting up from the floor up about we the people and we did, it is a cult. It is a cult. It is a hate group. I'm going to give it what, because if you don't serve my Most High, I'm going to tell the world who you are. It is a hate group. Because whenever it can hate its women, it'll hate anybody. It'll hate anybody. It is a hate group. It teaches men how to hate women. It teaches men how to hate the Gentiles and the heathens. Hate can't enter into the kingdom of heaven at all. You got to be about your Father's business, the Creator himself. If he said it's worse today than your forefathers, that should have gave you a sign. Wait a minute, y'all. We need to be getting something together. Our forefathers got us where we at. Where are we going if we got hate worse than them today? Don't think, do you? And they're not going to, because it's locked up. Their lives are locked up in Deuteronomy 28 endgame, and it's not coming out. It's not coming out. It's going to run its course, and it is to the utmost. We in the last hour. Look at how many women that killed their children in the last week. All their children. In the last hour, running up on the last minutes. It's time to get up out of here. And guess what? We can't go nowhere until that mighty right hand that's stretched out on come for us in the plan of the Father. I salute it. I ain't got nothing to say about these people telling me how he coming, when he coming, the way he coming. All I know that he's going to come. That's all I can say. And I trust in that. I salute the fact that he's, no matter what, he's coming. It ain't about what he say, she say, he say, she say. So many people are wrapped up in that he say, she say, he did, he said this, she did this. People are so wrapped up in their fleshly calling that they're spiritual lost and damned. They don't have no problem. They don't have no problem with it. So another thing we talked about yesterday. Uh, Let me get my glasses here. I'm going to cover something else, but the Catholics are behind it all. They're behind the fake Jews over in Israel. Because I used to say to the Father, I said, Father, why ain't they being brought down first? It's because he said you have to know who's behind them. I got to bring the hidden shield, let it fall. And that's why this country is going to get caught up in it, because the Roman Catholic has used this country to do all the wicked work for them. So if he bring this country down, he takes the crutch from America and from Israel. And that's why others are going to be looking over. But is it going to bring down the Roman Catholic? No. They too big, y'all. They too big. Okay. Now, another thing, that's what he gave me. Okay. Understanding. I see. Okay. He also wanted me to let you know. Yesterday he spoke to me about. I was in the bed and I turned over and I said, I don't want to get up. He said, you don't have to get up. And then it was something spoke to me. The righteous won't see blessings. And I'm like, I just won't see. Like, let me get up and start cleaning up. That's what I did. I'm serious. I said, no, I'm going to get up and start cleaning up. So I got up, and this was yesterday. And I was cleaning up, and I went in the kitchen and run my water to do I had like 7 pieces of dishes in the sink. And I started cleaning, and that water, that did it. He said it again. He said, the righteous won't see their blessing. And I kind of felt sad, because I said to myself, as he was dealing with me, I was saying within myself, well, you know what? That's the way I feel, though. I feel like if it's something that come before you that's a blessing, it likes to disappear the moment you see it. You realize, oh, this is a blessing. Bam, it's gone. Why? Because the righteous won't see it. First of all, it's not something that they see often. And when it is, Satan gonna always be there to kill, steal, and destroy. That's his makeup. And his makeup is set up in this here whole world system. To everything you earn on a job, they find ways to take. And he was showing me how you go on a job and you labor. When you work that 1 hour for $40, let's say for $40, 1 hour, it's Medicaid, Medicare, local tax, state tax, federal tax. Then you got your benefits. You got your health care, your dental, your vision, your life insurance. All of this is set there to take what you labor for. He said, when you're finished taking everything out, you make $40 an hour. If you did it in an hourly wage and broke down your benefits, you'll realize you're working for less than $2 or $3 an hour. Because when they finish taking it out, you're not making that 40. That 40 is there to give you money that they're going to snatch. Because the more you make, the more they take out. State, local, federal. And he said, just imagine the country, all these people in, they supposed to be so smart. But look how dumb they are. They can't even see the system, Deborah, that the Roman Catholic has set up. And that's why a lot of Gentiles and heathen is connected to the Roman Catholic belief outside of the Christians, because it has power. They know that it is the power that's hiding under the Christian, but it really is the Roman Catholics. And those that or Roman Catholics, they stay in that one in knowing that that's what they want to fall under because that's where the wealth is at. They know it ain't no Yah behind it. They know it is not no what they the world call God behind it, but it's power in the wealth. That is what he's bringing down. That has fallen. That is a system. But is it going to destroy the one that rules the four corners? No. No. That's not the time. And Russia's got a part in it and always be in, y'all. It just looks to us that Russia and America hate each other. Don't let nobody fool you because behind the power punch, that's why China can come together with the United States in all four corners and make a biochemical and place it around everybody, and every country is saluting it like it's okay. That's how. Because you have to have a power punch that's ruling all this, y'all. And that is the Roman Catholics. Because they're in China too. Okay? So, what he was sharing with me is it's like everything you can sit and you can say, this is nice, this, if you get this, then you sitting here and you saying, well, dog, I got to pay this. But I said to the Father, I said, what if you didn't even get this? Then what? He said, that's still there waiting. People, I listened to my sister talk about, she think life is about working and paying bills. That's the most awesome life to live. To me, that's a lost mindset. I think it's better to understand life itself than to think that life is about every penny coming to your hand just to go out elsewhere. That's not something to look at and see and embrace it as if it is LIFE. Because LIFE is connected to LIFE as far as the righteous is connected to some joy, some happiness, some peace. It's not thinking that everything belonged to the beast or everything belonged to the system, because that's what's actually happening. So now when you get your check, you got your check, and everything's been taken out before you even get it. Now you go home, and now what? All your bills are caught up once you pay every month. You still having to pay every month. So you see, the Father was sharing something with me, and I think I need to just look at it because he keeps saying to me, you should have read it, you should have read it. But I felt I knew it by heart. And it was Revelation 18. He said people didn't understand what was actually happening. He said Babylon, first of all, he said Babylon coming down is connected with a lot of wealth. But he said it's the wealth of the back of many, the labor, the slavery of many. I know we can say that they used us as slaves, but the Father wants you to understand this Babylon system has used everybody as slaves because it took all of their laboring money and put it into a system. So after you pay all this here before you get your check, and now you got what? Mortgage, rent, electric, gas, things that you can't just wipe away. And this is what people think. They think they can wipe it away in their mental state of mind, but you can't. And this is why he wanted me to understand. A righteous can't see a blessing because they so busy trying to do right and put all right things in the proper category. But he wanted me to understand it when he put me in the water, that this is why. They don't serve the world, but they follow the rules and order of the world. Even though I'm not of the world, but I live in the world, it means of not being in the world, mean following the rules of the world as far as your bills and doing everything they tell you, but don't be of it. So don't make it look like this is life here. This is how it should be. Doing it the way the world say do it. Because they stealing, killing, and destroying. And he said we were slaves, but pretty much billions have been slaves. They just wasn't called slaves. This is, too, the power of the Roman Catholic. This is another reason why they took everything and told all the Christian churches to send money over to Israel. I was in the churches that I had attend, they were sending thousands of dollars over to Israel, to the New Jerusalem. That was a part of the plan. When they come from Europe and place themselves there as the Jews, that was the plan. We're going to make you the true people, and we're going to make wealth over there, as if it was the way the Creator had designed it. You know that it was, see what y'all don't understand. Let me share it with y'all. The Roman Pope fixed up Jerusalem. Not the Roman Pope, the Roman Catholics fixed up Jerusalem with the Europe people, placed them over there and said, we're going to see to it that you're always wealthy. Why? Because you all were too ignorant to know that that land was the land floating with milk and honey. Had everything. We had everything, and we lost it. So they got to make it, and then what did the Father say? It's desolated. It's polluted. So what did they do? Satan said, I'm going to make it look like it's something that you said it ain't. You said it's desolated. You said it polluted. I'm going to get the whole wide world to see it's wealthy. You see how they did it? So they put the wealth over there. They made the whole world send them wealth to keep that land being the richest of the rich. And it still is today, along with some others in that area. But that's the whole idea of making it look or appear to have the same standards as Ahia had created it to be when we were there. Isn't that deep? So you see why man in the Negro or in the Hebrew Israelite movement, how ignorant they could really be in their understanding, in their studies, and their scholaring, and their precept, and all the books that they have searched. And then they got the audacity to run out now and find history. Baby, you don't know history, because history is within Yah, in his Ruach HaKodesh. That's where history rests, y'all. It don't rest in the books that you continue to read and say, oh yeah, this is one of the books they took from us or they hid from us. That's not history, baby. The history rests in the Ruach HaKodesh, who come to teach you all things and reveal things to you and show you things that come, things to your remembrance, and bring things of yesterday back to the light of today. That's your history. And without that, all the history that they can run and get books and learn this and learn that is lost without a cost. And it serves no purpose. Yah's history serves a purpose. It is his Ruach HaKodesh in you, giving you light to see in the midst of darkness, so you may walk this race, or you may run this race. You may walk this journey in which he has called you to be through his history that rests in the Ruach HaKodesh. And that's why our men are still yet gone. I'm going to say 100. They're gone 100. That's why I say it's no need to keep on expounding, because the whole lifestyle you can see is gone. Deaths, killing, destroying, everything. Our sisters is going off the deep end. He say, she say, she say, he say, and they calling themselves anointed people of Yah. You can't be anointed of Yah and that far out in the deep. Okay? So, with that being said, also in Revelation, he wants you to know I'm coming after that power of wealth. That's what I'm going to bring down. And it's going to freeze everyone that's a part of the Roman Catholic connection. And they are going to know who he is. When see, right now, nobody can bring them down. Russia couldn't bring him down. China couldn't bring him down. No one can bring the Roman Catholic down but Yah himself. And what he's doing is he's taking them by the system in which they have built up the wealth, their treasury, their merchant, and the other ones that has and their riches, and they're those who serve as delicacies in the midst of them. He's bringing that down. And you know what else he's okay? I saw this the other day where he said in here about it has fallen and become the habitation of devils and the holding of every foul spirit. You see what I'm saying? This is a system and a cage of every unclean, hateful bird. Do y'all understand what that means? This is where he's showing you where the power is at in the world. And what they did, when he said it become, listen to what it says in Revelation chapter 18 in verse 2. It is become the habitation of devils. It has become. They're going to bring here in this country those over in every country from Ukraine, from Africa, from other parts, and let them drift over here and get into this country. This is also the Roman Catholics. Why? As Revelation says, it has become the habitation of devils and the holding. See, they're holding these people of every foul spirit. So don't think that these people that's coming and being deported or transferred over to this country is for nothing. These people are sending their worst of the worst out of their country, even in Ukraine. They know it ain't no war over there. And if it is, it's what they're making the world see and believe, because they still in the process of getting their T's crossed and their I's are dotted, because they know the Father only gave them a length of time to back this thing on up so it can line up with the word. And that's what they're trying their best to do. Okay? So when y'all sit and y'all thinking that it's okay for African people to come over here and Ukraine or Mexicans, they're coming. It's going to be the holding place, the habitation of the holding of devils and unclean spirits. It's already that. It's already that. But the holding, letting you know, is they're going to bring them over here and hold them here. And that's why this place. See, a lot of people in this country don't even know that the war is within and not without. While they got you seeing the war on the outside, the war is really within. They took the food stamps from the people, but yet sent billions over to Ukraine, sent 55 billions over to Africa. Don't think that Africa getting 55 billion for nothing. Africa is going to be dropped a bomb, if they have not already, a biochemical. Okay? So that's why they paid them to let them have that authority to do that. You see? They got, and everything people do in the world has to do with the dollar. Okay? And when we sit and say that the fruit of all evil is not the dollar, it's the people, or it's how the people, no. Take away all this wealth, you won't see none of the sin that you see today. Most of it. I give or take maybe 90%, you wouldn't see it. The whole world has to do with merchant, what one can buy and sell. The dollar. The dollar is still surrounding the gold and silver and the oil. And that's what the Father was telling me. Just because I said to you that the righteous won't feel their blessings, don't give you a reason to feel emotion, no, and wanting to cry. You are richer than anybody on the face of the earth, Deborah. You are my silver and gold. Praise the mighty. Praise the mighty God. You don't have no reason to shed tears. You are the richest of the rich. I own it all. Always did. You are my silver and gold. I thank him for that. That's what he said to me in the water, because I was tearing up. I'm like, what you mean? And but you know what? I was also tearing up because it was true. It was truth, y'all. What he was saying was so true, because that's how I felt, even as a young person. I always felt, and that's why I was never one that would get. No. I was so into trying to make sure I give. Get wasn't even in my mindset for me to get anything from anybody. It was always what I can give. And as I grown up, I remember being 58 when he told me I was branded for his name's sake, and that he said I was branded for his name's sake, and that I was given the endurance spirit. And when he told me that when I was 58, and he told me it was a hedge around me, he just opened up and told me a lot of things I never knew. And he had told me it was a hedge around me. That's why no one never done anything to me. No one was ever racist toward me. No one ever treated me any, negative way out in this world. And I'm like, he said it was a hedge around you always. And looking back at that, I was telling him the reason what happened is I was crying. I was at my in an apartment over here on the south, and I was crying because I was saying, all my life, that's all I'm worth is what I give. I am always giving. I said my children don't see no worth in me outside of giving them. No one sees anything about me but what I give. I said, why is it that I can give and not even feel like I want to anything in return? Why is it that me, Father, all my life, since I was a little girl, I was always wanting to give? He said, because you're a characteristic of me. Oh, praise the mighty God. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty God. He said, because you are a characteristic of me. When he said that, I was like, what do you mean? And that's when he shared with me, it's not love, Deborah. I am give and gave. I am made up of give and gave. It was nothing in the heavens that is to detach to me regarding love. He said it is give and gave. So when you see yourself being like that for 58 years, it's because you are a characteristic of who I am. Praise the mighty God. I give him glory. Hallelujah. 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 So he was telling me Revelation is a form. Revelation verse 18, you can see his breakdown is many things, but he said, don't forsake the fact of merchant, wealth, riches, delicacy, where others are inheriting and using sin and all of this. He said, but they themselves have killed, steal, and destroyed from everybody else. And it is a system that is within them that has done these things. That has done these things. So Sister Deborah, says this. It makes a lot of sense what he's saying when he says the righteous won't see a blessing. Because the way it's set up is The moment you receive something, that's going to always be on your back to take it as if you have not seen it. And that's how it works. And honestly, how it's always been. Always been. So that's what he was explaining to me yesterday morning when I didn't want to get up. And he said that to me. That made me get up when he said that the righteous won't see their blessing on the earth. So it makes a lot of sense. Okay, what else was there? It was something else I had. Oh, it was something else. I want to explain to you all. I was talking to you all with a message that's very powerful. And like I said, a lot of times I can say it's powerful, but the Father wants me to understand my expectation of others getting something and understanding and receiving and embracing it is too high. My expectation for what I want and I desire to see someone get it like I get it, receive it like I receive it, and have it and feel it like I feel it. He says, stop, stop. They can't get what I don't give them. And I thank him for that. It's just my expectation is wanting to not be in it alone. A lot of people are messed up from the floor up. When Sister Deborah said, I feel so alone, I feel like I'm just in it myself, or I'm experiencing myself, or you don't get it. When I say that, yeah, I mean that. I mean it from the inner part of who I am. And it is so true. You don't get it. You think you get it. You say you get it. You really don't get it. You see? Because you don't have to say, I get it, or I see it, or I hear it. Because this thing is a feeling that is within that causes you to say words on top of words that identify that you get it, that you feel it, that you see it, that you understand it. It's not so much as a simple word, oh, I understand it. You're not alone. I get it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because when you get it, you feel it. And when you feel it, you speak those words on top of what Sister Deborah said. Not go underneath what Sister Deborah saying to challenge what she's saying to say that I get it. That's not gonna get it. See, that's why I say the relationship with the Most High and what He's saying to me is your expectation for people who don't have, because I haven't given it to them. You think I would believe you over him? No, I can't. I would start to say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not going to believe you over the one that's been dealing with me since I was 4. What sense does that make? It's not what someone, see, people are so quick to speak, but they don't listen. Because in hearing, you learn. And in learning, you become wise and knowledgeable. But see, what people do is they so quick to speak because they want someone to know the power in what they understand. And they have not sat up under the Ruach to learn how to be meek and low and humble. And then when the Father gives them something, they ain't got nothing to say. They can't clam on top of anything. They can't bring the right now word to the people today. See, Ahia said he ain't never changed. Meaning that it's there, it's present. People don't understand. People are at where we're at today, people are not listening to what's in here. They want you to climb on top of here with the anointing. And I don't blame them. They want a right now word. Something they haven't heard. And believe it or not, this message here, baby, ain't nothing up in here that you got the fullness of. Yeah, people claim they do because they so quick to speak. But he said, be slow to speak and quick to hear. Because he knows that this thing comes by hearing. And if you can't hear, you're not going to get it. Get what? What the Ruach wants you to know. Because really, people do. They want you to just get what they have to understand what you're saying. But to understand what Sister Deborah's saying to me, you got to climb on top, not climb underneath. And that's what he mean when your expectation is too high. You expect them to know something that I haven't given them. Because I've given it to you, you're sharing it with them. Now they have to seek me to get on top of you. But they don't want to seek me because they think they got it already. You see? A lot of things that I'm saying, you ain't got nothing. Because it didn't come to you in the spirit, the way he has broke it down to me. So you couldn't have it. He's not saying the same thing to you as he's saying to me. And if he is, climb on top of what Sister Deborah said. And that's where my expectation has always been, wanting to hear someone. Someone said something in the message, and I listened, and it blew me away. It blew me away. It was their own words, and they had no idea. They were speaking totally spirit and truth. They was coming from Genesis all the way to Revelation and didn't even know it. How would you say that, and why would you say that, Deborah? It's because this individual spoke Genesis chapter 21, Genesis chapter 27 and 28 all the way to Revelation. The message in such a few words spoke that message, and I was like, look at there. This individual don't even understand. They got what it takes. Because you just spoke it, bam. Because it's the way that they spoke it was identical to the way the Bible has lined it up. But they spoke it out of their natural, not out of their natural, it could have been their spirit or natural way, but it made all sense to Sister Deborah when I read it. And then you read some that really is, you can read them, you can see they challenging what you're saying. They're not agreeing with what you're saying. They're challenging what you're saying as if, oh, I know that, or I got it. I know I got it. It's like this, like this, like this. It's this. And they don't even understand. You so far out in the dark, you couldn't see light if you saw it. Because in this day and time, we in the last hours running up on last minutes. You got to say something better than that. Look at Sister Deborah. She bring things to you all that the Father is sharing with me. And it's stuff that's in the dark that's coming to the light still yet today. Still moving. And we're still running up here thinking we know it all based on what we read of yesterday. And we don't understand y'all gonna always have a right now word. That means he gonna always have hands that's gonna spill out something that you didn't know yesterday that's sitting looking at you today. Okay? So the individual did on my message said a beautiful statement, and I sit there and I read it. I said, now see this, Father, this is you. And let me tell you what this individual did. It spoke the body of Hamashiach. In the order, in the way the Father orchestrated the body of Hamashiach. How we are to work from the inside. And I was saying, man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, just putting it in the natural words so people can understand it today. This is the way it should be. This is the way it should be. But people don't want to go in that line. Let me tell you what I learned too. He spoke to me yesterday when I got off YouTube yesterday, not YouTube, off the live. He said, Deborah, they don't understand the oneness. These people don't understand the oneness. Let's go. When you go to Matthew's 25, watch this here. He said they don't understand that. It's a lot of things they just don't understand, and they're not going to. And that's why they can sit back and gather themselves to themselves and to their families, because they think that's the oneness. It's not the oneness, Deborah. It's the oneness. And that's why there's no unity, or no one wants to come and together and group together and make this a thing to where every maybe 6 months or start off once a year, or something where you can group together and come together. And it don't even have to be once a year. It can be times just coming together. But see, what people don't want that, because people are so, to me, it's like I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, it is like Deuteronomy 28 said, but it makes me see it's like a mental state of mind. Because you're not in the spiritual state of mind. You're in a mental state of mind. You can't see where anything can benefit unless it's benefiting you and yours. And can't see when, wait a minute, baby, if you in the body of Hamashiach, that's why Yeshua, when they say your mother and father, your mother and brothers are looking for you. And he said, wait a minute, hold up. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? It's because you all do not understand. It is not flesh and blood that bring you into the oneness. It can keep you from being oneness. Seek ye the kingdom of Yah first. And the kingdom of Yah is a oneness. It is not your mother and your brothers looking for you. Who is my mother and my brother? Unless they come into the fold of oneness. They are not my mother and my brother. And this is what I was saying when I said about coming out and we are gathering together, even if it's once or twice. Now, if these men come together and say, come, let's feast and let's come together and let's have all of this, these women would run, break their backs, and men too. But to come together in the oneness of the body of Hamashiach, the people ain't got the sense because they gone. You see, and they think it's just like it bypassed them. Nothing means nothing. But they don't understand. Sister Deborah's in the race. I know I got my lane he made for me, and I'm still in the race. I'm still here. The days and the hours and we in the last hour of spiritual. We in the last spiritual hour, running up on the minutes, and it's coming short, y'all. They hitting us, and things are going to take place. But when people can have one another in the body of Hamashiach, that's the best thing going. But you can't get the people, especially melanated Hebrew Israelites, black people. You can't get them, Negroes, whatever you want. You can't get them to think past that. And the Father, he can get them to think past that. But he knows who's who and what's what. So that's why Sister Deborah can't bring into unity the body of Hamashiach, because the Father knows that all the ones that claim to be in the body are not of the body. So it makes sense to me. It makes a lot of sense. Because I know that the gifts are there. I know that the gift is in the body of Hamashiach. And see, the body of Hamashiach make up one. Let me show you where. Matthew 25. When you go to Matthew 25, it reveals something to you that many of you all don't understand. And this is this oneness I'm speaking of. And when we run around here think it's about us, me, mine. You see, let it be about that. A lot of things shows me who people are. Oh, it's a lot of things I look at. Oh, a whole lot of things about people that I really pay attention to. And that's because of the gifts that has been given to me to rightly divide what's what and what is and what ain't and what's what. Okay. When you go into the Matthew's chapter 25, and you go here to verse 32 and 33, it reads, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divide his sheep from the goats. Notice the word sheep don't have an S. So this shepherd is not dividing sheep with an S as many. He is dividing a sheep as one. And the goats. You see, the goats has more. You see the goats? It has an S. That means goats. Okay? Verse 33. And he shall set the sheep, not sheeps, but sheep as one on his right. Okay? This is verse 33. Matthew 25 and verse 33. On his right hand, and the goats on his left. That leads me also to add on to what I'm saying. This unity that I have tried, I spoke of it probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half since I've been on here, coming together with those that are that has been in the live chat. But every time I do, I get this feeling of distance, that they're not as close as they appear, because in them is other substance of life. And this is what Yeshua was saying to his disciples. Y'all see them as my mother and brother. But truly, except they have what I have in me, they are not truly my mother and my brother. Because people are looking for the natural to support, the natural to prepare for, the natural to embrace. They don't understand if you embrace the spirit realm, it's going to take care of the natural. But they don't want to see it like that. And they're not going to. It's finished, said the Most High or higher. If it's not greater in them already, then it ain't going to come and be greater now because you're seeing it. It has to be something already in them. And that's why I say when people come up and say, yeah, I understand, I understand, I get it, y'all say that's a bunch of just talk. That people so busy wanting someone to know that they are in there based on what they're seeing, but they don't understand you're really not spiritually in there. You just naturally speaking it, but spiritually separated. And that's even in what give and gave, same situation. A lot of it identifies everything. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of things Sister Deborah just look at to determine, what's what and who's who. Because someone that don't even know you, haven't even been on your live, if their heart is to do something and they haven't been on here, and just a higher come to them and say, do, that's spiritual to me. Now you don't forget now, you're talking to someone who's always give, 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 give. I ain't got the sense to receive. And that's what he was saying. When you receive, you ain't gonna see it. Because this is the reason why you're not receiving. It's because it would always be there, Satan, to bring forth something to keep you from seeing any blessings that's given on the earth. But you would know it by the fruit of the heart and the spirit of its giving. And that's what you take with you. Praise Almighty Yah. That's going back to what he says. It's give and gave. And to know give and gave, that's more important than what is given and what is gave. It's to know that someone has a heart to mimic Yah's action. That's beautiful. Think about that. Just think about that. And not the action itself, but just to mimic who he is. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't know that because the individuals might do something that, hey, wait a minute, out of nowhere. That is not because Sister Deborah said, do this, do. No, that ain't coming to, no, that's because that shows you this is where you know that the right hand of the Father is being orchestrated in it all. In spite of whatever's going on in the world, he's still orchestrating things behind the scenes. So that's another thing he shared with me. So in Matthew 25, he was telling you in verse 32 and 33, oneness. See, and the thing about it, here we are on the earth. We want him to come get us and take us to the promised land. And we can't even find any refuge among each other. We can't come together for anything. We can't come to unity. We can't come to oneness in anything. But we're ready for him to bring us all together to go to take us somewhere. Does that make any sense? It's like saying, here we are. Over here, all over the world. He's going to gather. And here we are. We can be in the same state, in the same city, and have no unity in spirit and truth, in the light, to just come together. 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, nothing. But we are waiting for him to gather us, to take us to the promised land. That's why I love the whole idea, and I'm going to get off of here. I love the whole idea of the Father that's coming to gather up his remnant and how he's going to go about it. I love the whole plan because they're thinking they're not going to be cursed once they leave out. You're going to be cursed leaving out as you were cursed coming in. Okay? So a lot of people thinking, okay, when we're going to get over here to the promised land, he's going to be, no. It's going, I don't know if it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. You're going to take time and you're going to get to the promised land. It's going to take time. And a lot shall fall off. But he's going to, that's why the cleansing is not going to take place until you get to the promised land. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of them can't teach it because they don't know it. They don't know that the true cleansing where he gonna give you a new name, a new heart, a new, put himself in you. He's gonna clean up your filth, uh, take away your sins. He's gonna do all that good stuff, but not here, not while you're heading to the promised land, but when you get to the promised land. Okay, so let me see what else was it that I had to cover yesterday. Um, I think I pretty much cover it. And I say unto you, I hope you got something out of it. And I think that's it. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, I hope that you receive something out of this message, um, and that you take something with you in your spirit, and you seek Yah uh, at all time for all understanding, because Sister Deborah can't give you that. Only Yah himself through his Ruach HaKodesh. That's who he trusted with the understanding. Oh, I forgot one thing. He wanted you to understand also, this is connected to where he says the righteous won't see the blessing while they're here on the earth. They can't see the blessings. They can't, not while, but they couldn't see the blessings. He said that the credit, as far as good credit, that is also the work of the Roman Catholics. Hmm. That's a also the work of the Roman Catholics behind the shields. Mhm. Have you ever thought why is they killing Christians, and why is they in different countries? It's because they know who's behind Christians. So they are killing Christians because of who behind them, hiding the power that beats. That's why they're doing that. You see, they know something is behind the Christians. Have you ever thought, well, how did the Christian get away with leading us and lying and saying this here? And you didn't think that it's all over the world, even over in Africa, over in Russia, everywhere, because the power of the Catholics rules all Christians. They're the hidden shield and the hidden power of Satan's right hand and stretched out arm. Even Jerusalem and Israel is ran by the power of the Roman Catholics. All of that other stuff saying we Jews and we believe under this, that's a hiding, that's a cover up, so people won't know who the shield of the true elites. The elites are also under the power of the written of the Catholic system. They're under there too, y'all. So that just leads you to see the power that's in the Catholics. You see what power there is? It's Satan's right hand and it's stretched out arm. And that's where the beast and the Antichrist is coming from, the direction of the Pope from the Roman Catholics. You see what I'm saying? And they're not coming here in this country. See, this country is going to fall. This is a system that's the Roman Catholic has set up for many years and use this as they, how you say, they main post. This is their main totem that they use for the four corners of the world. Even though they got a main headquarters, but they use this one here for the four corners of the world. And that's why when this one go down, you're going to see all over the world looking and feeling sad and seeing the smoke because of the fact that this one is going to fall. And they're going to know that that's how they got to where they were from the portum of the system of the Catholics. Their main portum is here. And when that comes down, all the other ones countries going to be looking, saying, wow, if that came down, that's part. But this is why you have to also understand the two witnesses that the Father is sending. They're not coming to the United States. They're going to be over in, got to be, I'm thinking over in Europe. Mm-hmm. See, they're not, why are they coming to show signs and miracles and wonders? Over. So that he can show Satan right hand and his power, the Roman Catholics, that he's still in control. See, a lot of y'all don't know nothing about that, but yet you want to claim you know everything. A lot of you don't know that, and that's why the two witnesses, they're not coming to the United States. United States is going to be destroyed. The prophet and the beast and the false prophet, they're not coming to the United States. United States is going to be destroyed. But the two witnesses are going to be showing up and showing out somewhere. Why? Because it's showing his power. It's showing that the Father is still in control. Because you would wonder, well, why would they come just to die, just to get up again? And why would they come showing signs and wonders and fire can come out their mouth? Why are they coming like that? They're showing the Father's power. That's why he can do that. Showing it to who? Satan's right hand. And his Satan's stressed out on, which is the Roman Catholics. Showing them you don't run nothing. You see? So that's why those two witnesses are coming. And then they're going to die and they're going to lay in the streets and they're going to get right back up. It's a higher showing his power. How you like him now. Him showing his power. How you like him now. You see what I'm saying? And it's not going to be over here. So this is why I'm saying to you all, this country is going to be, this is the podium of the Roman Catholics. This is where they have fed the four corners, okay, from that podium. But there is a headquarters as well. So, and I think it's over in Europe, connected to Russia, I think. But I don't know for sure. But, oh, he was telling me about the credit. He said even the credit system is connected to the system. If you keep pouring out money and having good credit, it's going to make you look good in the long run. Do any of you all know what the long run means? In the days of struggling and hard time, they're going to build up the system with the whole idea of credit. If you got good credit, you're going to have many points. If you got less credit, your points are deleted. So it's got to do with something with points. Having good credit means points. You see? So what does that say to those who don't have good credit, which is 99.9% of people? You see what I'm saying? That's how they're going to break out with another system that's going to tamper with your credit. It's connected still to the Catholics, Roman Catholics system, but they're coming out with it, and it's already here. But so that's what credit is all about. It also fall under direct deposit, or getting the chip, as they say, so you can buy and sell. It's going back to doing all of that. You see. But a lot of people don't understand that a lot of things has already taken place in Revelation. A lot of people is way behind, and they're never going to catch up. They're never, because they haven't seek ye a higher first, nor have they tarried for the Ruach HaKodesh to be their teacher. And now it's over. It's finished. So Sister Deborah said, I just wanted to add that. So the credit, having good credit, you notice how a lot of people chase that good credit and they can get anything in the world because they got good credit. That is a part of the podium of the Catholic, the Roman Catholics setup system. So Sister Deborah, and it's about no matter what, you keep pouring into us, giving us, and we're gonna make your credit look good. So you can go get some more and give us. Get some more and give us. Get some more and give us. And the people haven't really figured it out. It's a system. So Sister Deborah say, that comes to kill, steal, and destroy you. It's not building you up in anything. You only have what you have is because you're selling your lifestyle over to the system. So Sister Deborah say, I hope you got something out of it, and I will be back. Oh, I did say about Rumble. On Rumble, I had a page set up years ago, which I didn't know, and I called myself having another page, and they end up telling me I had to cancel one of them. And I uploaded the videos on my old page, and I'm like, okay, I want to delete one of them so I could continue uploading my videos, and found out that I deleted the page that had my videos. So my daughter is going to upload them on my new Rumble, and hopefully everything will work out. So I will be able to connect through Rumble, and I will be using Rumble as well. So I say unto you, you all have a blessed evening, and thank you for tuning in. And I hope that you received something out of it, and give Yah all praise and all glory and honor for who He is, who He was, and who He's going to be. Shalom and shalom.